It's a huge Monday night matchup, Jets versus Chargers, and let's preview that game right now. And well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. So let's get into Jets versus Chargers. Well, the Chargers come into this game 3-4. Jets are 4-3. You know, the Chargers, they play a lot of close games, but last week against the Bears on national TV, that wasn't very close. They wasted the Bears 30-13. Now they're on national TV for the second straight week on the road, and it is a strength versus strength, weakness versus weakness game, in my opinion. So let's get into this matchup. So Jets are rolling when I talk about their offense first, so we're going to stay that way. So when the Jets have the ball against the Chargers defense, well, this Chargers defense is allowing 24 points per game. That's 24th in the league. 390.9 yards per game. That is the second worst, only to the Denver Broncos. But here's the thing. When you look a little closer, the Chargers have a good run defense. They're allowing 97 yards per game on the ground. That's sixth best in the league. But they're allowing 297 passing yards per game, by far the worst in the league. The second worst, to give you a comparison, is Jacksonville at 263. So teams are very able to throw the ball on the Chargers. They're really susceptible to long plays down the field. And when you have a quarterback who has some arm strength and can get the ball down the field, you have to put him in position to throw the ball down the field. Now, we have not seen that from the Jets. We have not seen Nathaniel Hackett let Zach Wilson do that. We have not, we haven't seen Robert Saleh do that. Todd Downing, blame whoever you want to blame. But the only time Zach was really throwing the ball downfield against the Giants was on the last drive of regulation and then in overtime when the team got desperate. So maybe just occasionally we could throw the ball down the field to one of these young receivers who have some speed and maybe can get a little bit of separation. Now, with the Jets receivers, Garrett Wilson will likely be guarded by Asantesamueljr. That's right, there's an Asantesamueljr. Doesn't that make you feel old? The fact that most of us watched his father play in New England, and now his kid is in his second year. So number 26 is Samuel. Their other starting corner is Michael Davis, number 43, but I would bet on Samuel getting the first shot against Garrett. And here's another thing. With the drop issues that Allen Lazard has had, with the non-factor that Randall Cobb has been, isn't it time to target the tight ends a little bit? You know, TylerConklin, no drops this season. He needs more than the two crummy targets that he had against the Giants. Jeremy Ruckert, CJ they deserve more than one target as well that they each had against Big Blue. But then you look at what the Chargers have to offer in the front seven. You've got Joeybosa, a fierce pass rusher, number 97. He's starting to round into form. His best game of the season definitely was against Chicago. He had been dealing with some hamstring issues, with a toe ailment. I mean, he ran over Bears guard Cody Whitehair for a sack on the first drive of the game, had some quarterback hits a little bit later on. But then in the run game, Bosa had a big stop on fourth down. He really made a big difference in that game. And then you have Khalilmack, number 52, 7 sacks, 7 tackles for a loss, and 2 forced fumbles. But then you also have Morganfox, number 56. He has 5 sacks in 7 games. Usually he lines up over the center. So in a situation where we don't know what the Jets' offensive line is going to look like, we better hope Joetippmann plays, because if he doesn't, watch that center position, watch number 56 in powder blue to try to make an impact on this game. And then at linebacker, you've got Kenneth Murray, number 9, 52 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss, 3 passes defensed, and 2 sacks. The Jets' offensive line is basically a game of musical chairs at this point. We don't know pretty much where anybody's going to play in this game aside from mekhibecton at left tackle. Dwayne Brown is not expected to be back. We assume Max Mitchell at right tackle, but the middle 3 spots, it can go anyway right now. Lakentomlinson now has a hamstring issue, and he has played every game, every snap for the Jets since he's been here. At center, you pray Joetippmann's going to be back, but we don't know yet. At least he was practicing a little bit this week, so that is encouraging. And then at right guard, it might be Billy Turner. It might be Xavier Newman. Who knows what we're going to see? Might be Chris Glazer for all I know. I don't know. Maybe they could get Damian Woody out of retirement. Who's to say? But that Jets offensive line, I think I'm going to be saying this every single game. But if they block, the Jets offense has a chance. If they don't, it doesn't matter what Nathaniel Hackett's play calls are. It doesn't matter where Zach Wilson's head is at. The Jets offense isn't going to work. So let's see what happens. Now, let's do what we always do. Let's flip the script. When the Chargers have the ball against the Jets defense, the Chargers are averaging 362 yards per game. That's 7th in the NFL, averaging 24.9 points per game. That's 9th in the league. But here's the thing. The Chargers offense has struggled huge over the last 4 games. In their last 4 games during the second half, they have 16 total points. That's just over a field goal per second half. And we know the Jets defense tends to get better as the game goes on. All right. Now, quarterback Justin Herbert, 173 for 252. He's passed for 1,890 yards, 13 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, sacked 15 times. Now, in week 4, he fractured the middle finger on his left hand, and after that, he went through a very rough 3-game stretch. He was hitting lows in pass yards, completions. His passes were just not on the money. He was missing some open receivers. But on Sunday, he looked a lot more comfortable. I know it was the Bears, but he looked a lot more confident. Began the game with 15 straight completed passes, finished with 294 yards and 3 touchdowns. But again, it was the Bears, not exactly the Jets' passing defense. Now, my encouragement is the Jets have done very well at home against the best quarterbacks, against Allen, Mahomes, and Hurts. The defense really seems to play up to the level of competition. Now, running back austinekeler, number 30, he missed 3 games with a high ankle sprain on his right foot, so he did return in week 6. Hadn't really played to his standards, but like Herbert, Ekeler sort of returned to form. He scored the game's first touchdown. He also led the Chargers in receiving yards. He is probably, along with Christian McCaffrey, the best receiving running back in the NFL, and thank goodness the Jets have Quincywilliams and cjmosley. Probably the best linebacking unit, certainly in the AFC, maybe in the league, unless you're talking about San Francisco. And that might be what the Jets need to counter Ekeler. All right. Now, the thing with the running game on San Diego, not too impressive. They had only 54 yards rushing against the Bears, 2.4 per carry, but they have a very good left side of their offensive line. Rashawn Slater, number 70, and rookie Zion Johnson, playing left tackle and left guard respectively. So one of the big matchups in this game will be most likely Jermainejohnson lining up against Rashawn Slater. Now, I'll give the Jets the edge with their pass rush up the middle and on the right side, on the Chargers' right side. But if Johnson can get some pressure on Slater, it could be an absolute blitzkrieg, and Herbert could be scared for his life in this game. Okay, now with the skill position players, with the receivers, specifically, you've got Keenanallen, number 13, 54 catches on 74 targets, 643 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But the thing with Allen, the Chargers like to line him up in the slot. Their new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, likes to see him as a slot. So Michael Carter II might be seeing some of Keenanallen. He's going to have a big week. Now, with some other receivers, it's kind of touchy here. Joshua Palmer, number 5, hurt his knee on Sunday. Last I've heard, he is not practicing yet. He was stepping in for an injured Mike Williams. We'll see if he plays. And then rookie Quentin Johnson, number 1, had a very quiet start, but again, against Chicago, he had his breakthrough game. 5 catches for 50 yards and 3 first downs. He entered that game, by the way, with 7 catches for 64 yards. So he nearly doubled his season output against the Bears. Now, one X factor in this game is Jalenguyton, number 15. Very great deep threat when healthy. Now, he tore his ACL in 2022, but he is back practicing, and there is a good chance he will play. Now, Guyton has had 7 catches of 40 yards or more in the last 3 seasons. He averages almost 17 yards per catch. So I don't think Guyton would play a full game, but on certain packages, you got to watch for number 15. Jets are going to have to be ready for his speed. And then tight end Geraldeverett missed the last game with a hip injury, number 7, but he is a very good receiving tight end. All right, couple of other game notes to throw out there. The Chargers, they look like a pretty disciplined team. +6 in turnovers. The Jets are +3. Chargers have taken 44 total penalties. That is the 3rd fewest in the league. And whereas in their last 2 victories, the Jets got a little bit of, you could say luck, or if you want to call it that, but the opposing team's kickers missed some big field goals. Camdicker, the Chargers kicker, I just figured that one out. Yeah, Dicker the kicker is 30 for 31 on kicks. His only miss was a 50-plus yard kick. Whereas with Gregzuerlein, he has made one field goal at least 26 games in a row, longest active streak in the NFL. So you have two very, very good kickers who could realistically compete for a Pro Bowl spot. And you have to factor this in. The Jets are a game ahead of the Chargers. This could be for a head-to-head tiebreaker. You know, in the AFC where the playoff race is so tight, and it's going to be tight all the way through, you need these head-to-head games. Even though the Giants game was for bragging rights, this game against the Chargers and next week's game against the Raiders are more important when you look at playoff standings. So let's see what happens Monday night. And a couple of notes for the Virginia Jets fans, if you're watching. AJ Gators, 8:15 kickoff. Be there at 8 o'clock. We got a special prize for the game that I've already posted on our Facebook page. If you're a Darrelle Revis fan, believe me, you do not want to miss it. So that will be a free raffle available to anybody who shows up. Well, that's all that I got for you today. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.